Time is 18:32, 6:32. Mr. Secretary, please take the roll call.
William Perez,
Present.
Eric Borman is absent. Myself, Gary Cardenas here. Michael Booth, here. Nicole Ortiz,
Here.
Judy Parcasana, Mario Chavez, Pedro Fialo.
Here.
And Ed is missing, so we're missing two, and we're
Please rise to the pledge of allegiance and please stand for the this. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You have receipts. Do we have any public comments? Have anybody from the public? No public comments. All right, go on the slideshow, please. Okay, order of business, deferral, additions, deletions. I think one of the things I did, next slide is one of the additions is, I know we talked about it, Michael was chair. Apparently, we went to the tape and the minutes, we actually did not vote upon moving the Veterans Day parade to November 5th. Right, so we moved a lot of stuff that day. And we, we voted, I know, because I remember I did the notes and it was like, motion deferral, motion second.
Yeah, what's up, guys? But if I may, we have never voted on the renovation. Oh, you bet on that plate. They told us that Sunday for years on end.
Well, no, I mean, I think the issue is we just need to vote on it, correct?
Right, so if I may, at that meeting, it was asked of me to go back to staff to see, what's stopping us from having it on that day on the Saturday, the 11th. I was told that it's not a problem, and the only thing that's stopping us is precedent. We always do it to something prior. Since, I guess I wrongly assumed that me exploring the option was not necessarily confirming the option, right? So, I should have taken it back and just,
But there was no vote ever made.
There was no vote. The only vote was to direct staff to explore the idea.
So there shouldn't be any for a vote to change it to the 5th.
Well, I think,
Let continue.
yeah.
What, no, that's it. So. I do understand that, having the option, I should not have assumed that we were gonna establish it. And the only reason, Gary saw the email was because he's a staff member. I'll send it out to the staff. It wasn't necessarily us promoting it. It was just. Adding
Well,
to the calendar.
it was actually inviting.
Right.
It was inviting the staff.
Yeah.
To the
Well, I
parade.
mean,
on the 11th.
so what do we do? Do we need to do anything, Jonathan, like voting on a new date and doing a motion just to say, hey, this is our date for sure. That's the day we're all going.
I like votes. I do understand that we probably don't have to. We're just gonna. work
Yeah,
on it.
I would recommend we do vote on it. That way the committee has at least made its opinion known
And then you can.
and that way, the town knows our official opinion on this whole issue and there's
Also, in fairness,
confusion is eliminated.
in fairness to me going out and asking, what's stopping us, just so we can have the discussion, if anyone wants to still, argue on behalf of having it on the Saturday. I think.
Yeah, we'll open up for discussion once more.
Right, that's what it is.
Okay, so opening up for discussion whether or not we should, move or officially recognize that the Sunday before, which is what we traditionally did, should be the date of the Veterans Day parade, November 5th. Any discussions to suggest November 11th, which will be Saturday in the middle of Veterans weekend?
As I indicated before, that would make it then a long weekend because November 11th. If it's falling on a Saturday, it's absurd on Friday, the 10th.
Mhm.
So it's a long weekend. People just be out.
Yeah.
It's no Boy Scouts available, marching band. Resources would be.
And most Marines will be hungover because it'll be November 10th.
Yeah.
And, we'll have to be carted in.
That dragged in.
I'm sorry, so currently on the town calendar, it's on the fifth?
Well, on the internal, like our own Outlook calendar, we have it as just a.
Which is the Sunday before.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
no,
always-
excuse me, I apologize, and we have it as date low. Just because I informed Isle that that's what the committee wanted, except. I, wrongly jumped to that conclusion because I had explored the option.
There was a miscommunication.
There was a
I mean, there was
miscommunication.
nobody, a miscommunication on my part. There was a miscommunication.
No, but what, so the discussion is, it's not the committee's ability to decide, we have to make a recommendation, you'll take that to the council, and then.
No, we just do a vote. We just do a vote.
Yeah.
It's ours to decide.
It's on this side.
Right, I would just put it to a vote. The discussion is yes on this date, no on this date,
Oh, okay.
and
All right,
then.
so can someone make a motion for November fifth?
I make a
But we
motion.
still have the discussion.
Sure.
Was
Want to have-
Sunday is the fifth,
Yes,
which would be the week
That
before,
was before.
and unfortunately, previously, it doesn't necessarily fall on the weekend, so in this case, it does, we're kind of blessed in that
Yeah.
regard, but we don't like the weekend that it's falling on, because,
Because of the resources, it's a long weekend, it'll be observed on Friday. Because it's on a Saturday, Sunday will be observed on Monday.
So I'll make a motion to do November the fifth.
yeah, and I'm not kidding. It's November 10th is the Marine Corps birthday.
It is.
And every single Marine, even if you spent 24 hours in the Marine Corps, will be face down. Worshiping porcelain, toilet, on the 11th. I guarantee you, I know, especially if they all go to Duff's. Which is where they have a huge,
but that wouldn't pertain to the kids and the rest of the.
no, just any Marine who may want to be there. And then I'm saying.
And a lot of Marines, a lot of non-Marines celebrate that, JK. So you don't have to be.
All right, so let's make, anyone, Gary, you made the motion, or
Made a
Pedro made the motion, anybody second the motion? All right, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay, let's move on. Okay,
And by the way, the last time it was done, it fell on a Saturday, was 2017.
Oh, and
And
how
it
did
was
they do
done the Sunday
The
before.
Sunday.
It's always been that Sunday before.
I tell you, the last parade
For
was
a year.
Right, moving on,
Yeah.
let's
Going back
review
to
and approval of the March 16th minutes. Are they attached?
They are at the.
Okay, everyone, please
Or-
take a look at those minutes.
That shows the veterans.
Yes, I don't know why, because I'm putting on there, I think it's because it was discussed, like I said, when, Michael was chair, and I just assumed that they were done. When the confusion happened, so.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think we ever, the town told us when the date was, we never debated the date.
You know, this is a big old missing. I could have a motion to approve the minutes, please.
So moved.
Knickerbocker can have a second.
Second.
All right, all those in favor of them approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, next, issue is the DD forms, dealing with requests for community service. I think you have them, Jonathan. Yes. You have them signed off by the town. Basically, for those folks who don't know, what I've asked for is a static display for the reindeer run. This is a request to, military units for community support, and I've asked for military tactical vehicles for the parade. But you gotta get them in early, and there's no guarantee, so I'm trying to get them in real early. And I'm gonna try to hand deliver one of them to, the unit commander here locally. That was different.
Awesome.
Being on the fifth would make it easier.
Yeah.
Make it easier for them because it's not a.
Everybody.
And, I mean, that, a lot of the people who go to the parades are kids, middle schoolers, high schoolers, and anytime the military can target potential recruits, it becomes something more for them, you know what I mean? So, Jonathan, if you have those, all I need you to do is, scan them and send them to me, and give me the hard copy when you can, I'll write them up. Thank you very much. Third item is the run coordination company that we used last time for the reindeer run, Judy.
Mhm.
I know you said, hey, let's get those folks on board, but Jonathan reminded me that since it's an allocation of funds, because we have to hire them, we have to have a vote on it as a committee. So that way the town can allocate those funds. Holy cow, I didn't invite you, but I'm glad you're here. Perfect timing.
everyone. I need the special invitation.
Yeah, we're honored to have his presence, the director of Parks. All right, so that being the case, who was the people last time, Jonathan, who supported us in this?
Race time.
Split second or race time?
It was race time.
Race time.
Hmm.
Race time, yep.
All right, can I have a motion to re-contract with Race Time for the Reindeer Run 2023?
You were pleased with them
Yeah,
overall,
were you?
Yeah, and now I know what to expect.
Okay, I'll make a motion.
Much less they think.
and they've done it once now.
Yeah, they've done it. They've been
So,
here.
yeah.
Yeah.
Who was the motion?
Pedro,
I'll second it.
All right, any discussions, any concerns? Do you have any concerns?
I'll come through the prior contract and put some notes and comments to give to Jonathan, just in case we make a couple of adjustments. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Don't be against. Next issue, Reindeer Run 2022 proceeds. American Legion Commander is present. Thank you for gracing us with your presence. And I know I'm putting you on the spot, Gary. I think I told you this at the last meeting, but I don't know, because my memory is.
I was at the last meeting.
No, I'm talking last Legion meeting.
Okay.
That they're looking at trying to give money to, any local veterans organization and the Legion came up. And I said, well, the best person to talk to what the money could be used for would be Gary, the commander. I mean, you weren't here last meeting, so go ahead and give us your best sales pitch.
Locally, there is no venue per se to provide funds to veterans. We hardly know veterans in Miami Lakes. So we know it's difficult for us to engage. We don't know how many. We know there are many. And that's why we've been trying to hold some events with it in December.
Yeah, so let's talk about some of the events you guys hold.
Trying
Yeah,
with it, like the senior citizens, veterans event, December 23rd.
right.
Senior citizens, or those veterans somewhere along the way. So we're just trying to let them know and that we're here.
And that was a pretty big event. The last Christmas, senior citizens, veterans, Christmas thing, that was a very large event.
right.
And like we said, a lot of senior citizens, a lot of them are veterans, but they had to draft. Or they were married to a veteran, et cetera. And how much did you say that would that cost the Legion to put on?
It was donation, that we got some support sponsor, and
So how much donations did we get?
it was about
And they don't-
18 grand or something like that.
18 grand?
250 deep.
Oh, yeah, I know. I was there. I was passing out.
They
meals.
gave
I
away
remember.
paintball TV was good. There were two of them.
And then we also have, in the Legion, we also have the barbecues on July 4th for the Legion members, correct?
Yes, sir.
That goes directly to all veterans.
That's.
And how much did that cost?
Now, with the cost, it's over 500.
And then we also had one in February for all the Legion members as well. That was another 500.
That's another 500, yeah.
Any other events that you can think of, that the American Legion puts on for veterans who are Miami Lakes residents or?
The other one that, which we did for the first time in how many years? The parade for the first time, the veterans had a float.
That's right, we had a float, and we had to pay for that, yeah.
So that was $3,000
3,000.
that we did through also donation, corporate donation.
So I mean, if you had,
We don't have money.
if you had to ask the Reindeer Run fund folks,
Let's put it this way, let me interject. The only funds that the post collects are $6 per member
A year?
a year. Yeah, that's it. A $35 membership, of which we keep at 6. Wow. Out of 200 members, that's $1,200. We can probably get it up to even mayor's cafe.
and he doesn't give us a discount.
It ain't.
And then
Just
So
kidding.
all the initiatives,
but,
all
Just kidding.
And they give us a discount.
And there are, I mean, there are guys there at the veterans who collect clothes for
Yes,
needy veterans. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, we have somebody who helps
That
homeless
could
veterans.
probably be enhanced.
right, and that's what I think we're looking for, like, I love these events, but it seems like you already have established events that are heavily corporate sponsors. So we don't wanna like give those sponsors a break and just
No.
dump in.
No.
I'd love for you
No,
to
because
come up with, you know, propose something that is additional, augmented, something that's small, turn into something that's more impactful.
and
And give us the proposal.
And occasionally we get calls in from a veteran, some like veteran and we don't have money for it. Well, this one we just wrote to them that I can't renew my membership because my rent just went up and I got 2 jobs and I can hardly afford it.
well, do we have established like for the Christmas dinner? Or was that the first time or second time or?
That was really the first time.
That was the first time we put it on, so do we have established
We
sponsors?
did that, by the way, yeah, we have one coming up.
So they'll do it again?
Yeah.
Okay,
We
so
did-
Judy's point is valid. And for the barbecues, do we have established sponsors for that? Yes, and so they'll do it again.
We have a few that we always get.
Yeah, we have.
Federal has, we have one who met with me in January. Okay, what do you have? So I give them it. We're in.
So the question becomes whether or not we could find a program.
They also
Which-
do Boys State and Girls State.
Can we do Boy State and Girl State?
We did.
Yeah, but we got some funding for that as well.
We won, but we came up with the other,
So you guys really need to do, just can't, and don't have funds for it.
Yeah, for those,
That's what we need.
yeah, for those who don't know, Boys State is, we take seniors to be entering senior.
Rising juniors.
Rising junior. And send them to Tallahassee to spend a week. It's the premier program with American Legion. They spend a week playing mock government. They become the nationalists and the federalists. And they run from there, this make the city.
Well, let me ask you this, Judy.
And from there. they-
We have,
politics.
yeah, we have other programs, like, for example, we sponsor Sea Cadets in the Legion, correct?
Right.
And we have Young Marines as well, and I can tell you, as far as Young Marines and, if you say, well, they Miami Lakes residents, I mean, I know some of the volunteers are, but I don't know, they're all from Dade County,
Mhm.
And I know the Sea Cadets is the same thing, and Sea Scouts, I'm sorry. And I know they have to fundraise to do their events. Would you consider that kind of thing, or you want to leave it just, see if we can help veterans directly as opposed?
We have to from our message.
Okay. All right, so I guess we are back to the drawing board on this one, and so we'll table that.
Hardest time to spend $70,000 I've ever had.
But
Gosh,
Ed, you were involved in vetting
Yeah, we talked about
organizations.
it last meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah, so what?
but did you get a list of, I'm sorry,
Yeah, go ahead.
no, did you get a list of names or was it
Not for
names
this
that you
one.
came up with?
No, not for this one, but there was a list of names provided. The number was, I forgot, there were a couple big ones, then there was that fishing with, that's that. And
Everything with the
that
better, captain.
we ended up giving the money to, because almost all the money, I think
Yeah.
all the money that's donated to that organization goes back to the veterans, as opposed to other ones that are like 10%.
Yeah, they kind of, that organization had a split.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
And your research disqualified a number of other.
Right, big, well, I
No,
know. It's Spotify, it's just a lot of money wouldn't go to the veterans.
It wasn't
Or you
going
didn't
to
find
veterans, it was
those-
going to administration.
Administrative costs,
Like,
stuff like that.
Or they weren't registered correctly, I think I remember.
Right,
that
there was one that wasn't registered as a 501c,
Yeah.
yeah,
so.
like, this other one.
I know we're getting like millions and millions of dollars, so the impact would have been great, I think.
Yeah.
One of them was like, I guess there's, like almost like a Ronald McDonald's house, but for veterans or something,
Oh, yeah.
remember?
Fisher House.
Yeah, Fisher House.
Yeah, that.
And that gets a bunch of millions of dollars, so that whatever the money was, we're getting money.
We gave 8,000.
Right. So
Like,
that's why we decided.
Yeah, but, okay, what the Fisher House does is the houses families of the veterans who are in the hospital, kind of dying. And the VA doesn't give them money for the families to come in.
Hmm.
All the food they have to come up with. And And that's where that money.
No, I'm not
Yeah.
saying that they don't do something well for the service. What I'm saying is compared to what they get in,
Right.
we had decided the
It
committee
was a
that
drop in the
8,000 wasn't gonna do anything.
Oh, yeah.
When it could impact, like the fishing with the vets immensely more, because 8,000 was a huge part, huge addition to the budget.
The other one that's from the region is a project that we lead, that's administered out of the Department of Florida.
Anyways, I don't mind doing that again, vetting it, but I think
You need some names.
Some names,
Sorry,
right?
you know.
But
I think we should look at the Fisher House.
they're not administrative costs anyway.
Yeah.
No go to, like when the government shutdown.
Okay, so I'd say we just table this, and Ed, if you could please take a look at, you know,
are you guys gonna provide names like last time, or?
Yeah, last time we gave you a list of names and you vetted them that way.
or we'll provide you this. I think
We can all bring some to the next meeting and then put it down.
I mean,
Yeah.
what if Soldiers Angels?
we gotta research that.
And
And
Soldiers Angels.
What I will tell you also is that sometimes they're like subgroups of a bigger, um,
Yeah.
charitable organization.
Right,
Oh, Vet Info.
Oh, I
and
know,
that's Bill Watson.
yeah, I know him.
And then, I'm sorry, I apologize, because I was not here at the last meeting, but I remember the amount of effort you put into the, getting donations for this reindeer run, coupled with the folks that registered. And I thought we were up in the $50,000 range, so was that all absorbed by expenses?
Yeah, I'm prepared to jump in and I.
Was that, I mean, just in general terms?
Yeah,
Let's go through it now.
okay, I didn't. It's
We're on the topic, yeah, it was on the agenda.
kind of beautiful thing to share, but it's, it all tied out. I reconciled it and I found things in the budget. We obviously we're gonna take out to save for next year. I've cut about $6,800 worth of, items off of this, so that will obviously increase our net at the end. The tents was the first line that I kind of was a little bit surprised by. For $2,293. We got about 14 10 by 10 tents to rent. And we could buy 14 10 by 10 rents for $1,380, and then we can own them or throw them out or donate them to veterans or, you know, or football teams or whatever. But, so we'd save, $1,000 a pack. And the fun zone yard signs were $200. I don't know if those were really that necessary, or would we need such expensive funds for the fun zone. I don't know if it was that well taken there. Was that important? And then we will not have a band. That there was just not enough interest. That was a nice test, and obviously not as, that's $1,500 less. And we don't need the sound stage and power, all that, $3,700. And I was gonna see if the police department would relook at their proposal for this coming year. They charged us $7,254. I mean, I'm projecting, about. $50,000 in sponsor dollars, about $15,000 in runner revenue. So, I think over 25 or 30% of our revenue. At least I think it's a lot. I think we can go back to the police and say, hey, let's get us down to 6,500. So that's another savings of $754. So that comes out to increasing our net $6,867. I want to increase our sponsors. Sorry, I know.
Location.
What does that mean?
But in part, that's why we put it there, was because it would be less traffic and wouldn't have to, with all the traffic lights, yet in the end, I think we ended up with the same number of police that we've had when it was here on Main Street.
I say because I know somebody, Brianna Vergara. They're talking about moving it to, Amelia Earhart because of that. Because Amelia is a park. It can be done there, and all you need is 2 officers for safety purposes.
And then they can't be.
Right. Over there, over here, I mean, you can still use the town.
Yeah.
We could do it over there, but over here, you're in the roadway. And it's the safety aspect of closing it
Miami
down.
Lakes Reindeer Run if it's in Amelia Earhart Park. It doesn't feel the same. That's the one thing I would say.
It's not to push it there, but just to give you an
Yeah, no, thank
example of why it's.
Was
it's
it
what
less money when it was at Main Street? I mean, I don't. I feel like it was.
I think it was about the same number of officers, if I remember correctly. I think it's the cost was
Yeah,
about
because it's
$7,700.
It's the street.
Whatever, the street is-
If you have less streets, you have less officers.
But we thought by moving there, that, because it was, you didn't have the flow of traffic, you weren't running on 154 and 67. Our thought had been that it would be markedly less, but in the end, it turned out.
Actually, you got a lot more intersection.
Yeah.
And every intersection is potential hazard.
And we had that turn on that,
Yeah.
you know, towards that Commerce Way turn, so we were basically taking up both ways.
Yeah, and that's what I think the point that was made was that if you left one of those open and a car went through and ran over some people, there'd be some liability, so I think that was.
Yeah, that would ruin the
In
race.
part. Yeah.
It was a day.
So anyways, to get to increase sponsors, proposing to get to about 50,000 in sponsorship, additional $10,450. And the additional registration, I'm projecting, we'll go back to the number 700 runners, will allow for 175 students, volunteers, bringing us to about 15,750 in projected runner revenue, which is an additional 6,700 from last year's. So new goal, $41,000 in, I have it in writing, we got it, 41,000, that's the new projected.
All right. Fantastic.
Net. I already have some sponsors asking to come back. I have a new sponsor that wants to come on, so it's time to start that. So we need to get the date in, the date in stone. We're good?
Yeah.
Is our running guy, he doesn't know that yet. That's the last.
Right, we just voted on that now.
Right,
Yeah, but we have to actually set up the meetings with the
okay,
vendor, but if we're fine with the vendor, then
yeah,
that's like.
yeah, let's
probably
do it.
that's
Let's do
okay.
it. Let's see if he wants to cut out $687 so I can get down to this number I need to get. We'll leave it with it.
Fantastic
Think
job.
a little, think a little. bit of it.
Fantastic.
Mm.
And give me the next slide, please.
Oh, I'm not done.
Oh, keep on going then.
Sorry. Well, our subcommittee, I wanted to just reconfirm who's on the subcommittee.
Okay.
For some reason, my notes were not.
I am.
Okay,
Mario is. Because you got like 4 functional areas you need to do, right? One is sponsorship, one is logistics, and there's a.
I don't see it.
communication with the community.
Communication and package pickup and dates, bag stuffing team. Yeah. So,
I need somebody that's gonna be the conduit with the staff. Working with them, with the items they manage for the group, so. So it's Mario, Bill, and who else?
Larry, I think.
Larry. Okay, that's it. Is that it?
That's it, that's all we need.
Okay. Okay, I do have a list of our marketing budget. I'm also gonna add a billboards to our advertising and marketing. I'm gonna get them for free. I just need to know what foundation I would go through, like they need a 501 and like I got it for the food and wine and it's the
Sure.
town's foundation was the one that signed and was invoiced for or comp invoiced for it. So would it also be that foundation or is it something else?
I'll have to, so you want me to look for the billboards? The qualification for getting it for free?
No, I already have it free. I just need,
Oh,
I
you have
need a foundation, I need a nonprofit to be, for them to, for the contract, it's a contract, it's a zero contract, like Claire Soul signs off for the foundation on the one for food and wine. And I'd like to get that as soon as possible, get artwork ready and start thinking about when we're gonna, put the billboards up. And we need to also set dates for subcommittee meetings, when can we?
Right.
When do you want to meet? Do you want to meet? Is that probably?
Yeah, I mean, I think to get the few things done that you needed yet, so that we can make
Yeah,
some.
once
some
we
traction.
get race time guys
Yeah.
secured and all that stuff, then we should meet.
Yeah.
So we can have a
Okay.
race time guy there.
So I'll get back with staff to see about setting the meetings. Race time, and then we'll look at the calendar, probably, because we would want to do it as soon as possible after that meeting.
Mhm.
And we'll, yeah, I'll let you guys know about when.
And then maybe we can put some regular
Early
dates
in the
on.
morning, good. Get this-
Maybe we can just book them even, can we do our subcommittees before or right after our veterans committee, so we can just kind of go through and do
Yeah,
it?
that'll be
Yeah.
great.
Okay, good.
That'd be great.
Well, I would say,
Do we have anybody using it
before.
from afterwards?
just because you don't want the meetings to run too late. I think we'd be out of here by 10.
No, I get paid. no
Do the
matter what.
subcommittee first.
Right.
I like it, then we'll be able to give information to the committee.
It is up, again, it's up to you guys because you guys are the ones on the step. You have your own schedules to deal with, so.
I can come earlier.
Yeah, it depends on those folks who, have to come early, have a job and stuff. I get paid some amount no matter what time. Yeah.
We'll work with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think preferably.
I see that they were charging.
Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you for the update.
Thanks.
Okay, next slide, please. All right, we talked about, the veteran banner. And so we're gonna table the American Legion post proceed, and we're gonna look for somebody. We owe Ed some ideas and names, right, folks? So let's get that going. Last time we discussed a kind of like, do we have any rules for eligibility and do we have a process to review who gets on this banner? And it was raised because there was some concern that some folks on the banners may be wearing ribbons and medals that they couldn't possibly rate based upon what an experienced officer sees. And so we want to be able to be part of the process to vet DD 214. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about, Mike?
Should be.
You know, I've seen a few Bronze Stars and they're like in the third row. I'm like, that's a Bronze Star. Why are they in the third row and not the top, you know? And then I see no combat action badge or nothing. Which is maybe, it's possible. You can get it meritoriously,
Yeah.
but it'll be nice if you had an oversee or deployment of some type, campaign. ribbon.
Typically,
A campaign ribbon to go with it would be nice, you know? So, anyway, so here's the proposed rule. Any veteran who is a resident of Miami Lakes, and Ed, please take a look at it because you're the lawyer on the, or a members of a veterans organization that meets regularly in Miami Lakes, American Legion, DFW, DAV, because I know a lot of folks who are not residents of Miami Lakes, but are part of the Post 144, have their banner up because we meet in Miami Lakes. But I want to make sure it was opened up for other organizations.
And the sponsor, the sponsor for the maybe they could have won.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, that's
Good
good.
fund that.
Yeah, that's right. That's what, you know, but I mean, I want to try to create a rule. Or is it, you know, Fred would have to, you know, we had a VFW post here. I would want, you know, hopefully Fred would, you know, fund them as well. I think he would. Or as a non-probationary employee of the town of Miami Lakes, and I put non-probationary because I assume the probationary period of 12 months or no. You guys are just hired full-time right away.
Hired full-time, but certain benefit packages and stuff are on probationary periods.
Yeah, so non-probationary employee of the town of Miami Lakes. That works. Next slide. And was honorably discharged from any branch of the military to include the Coast Guard. Now, the Coast Guard is not a branch of the military, Department of Homeland,
They're part of
It's
Homeland
not.
Security.
Homeland Security.
but I want our coasties to be involved because, you know, they help us out.
They could-
Well, in the time of war, they are still
Yeah, exactly
under
right.
DOD.
You may
So,
want to add American Marine.
And honorably discharged. Okay, they're basically after the eligibility. So the approval process is veteran must complete the online application, including submitting a copy of the veterans DD 214. The page that contains the characterization of service. Now, what do I say that? Because there's like 5 pages of DD 214. Not every page contains the characterization of service. I didn't want to say what page it was, you know, because I think it's like page
I
4.
will
page-
tell you that there are servicemen who have DD 14 that don't have that.
Yep.
I don't know.
It doesn't have a characterization.
Doesn't
of
have a
service?
characterization of service.
Okay, well, then that'll be a little bit harder to that. But I mean, most
Now-
of these 2 are 14s are multiple pages.
Well, I mean, they go through the VA and the VA
Yeah, the
certifies
VA
that
certify
they were
characterization.
honorably
Yeah,
discharged in
exactly.
order to be able to give them benefits.
So they can always, you know, we can always go back and submit, have them submit a letter.
Case by
Right.
case.
Yeah. But they'll probably be few important.
I think so.
Okay, so anyway, so the veterans DD 214. Okay, all applications will be reviewed by designated members of Miami Lakes Veterans Committee. Who will recommend approval or disapproval to the town. If this approval is recommended, the reason or reasons for disapproval will be provided in a memorandum to the town manager from the chair of the Veterans Committee. Anyway, right now, I think the process is people just apply on the town's website. I know I had to upload a DD 214. I had no idea where it went to. I have no idea who looked at it.
It gets forwarded to the company that's responsible for printing the banners. And we were under the impression that they were doing a vetting process of sorts with the paperwork that they received. But they said that they don't have the staff to do that. So basically whoever they get, they prove it.
They assume that it's vetted.
Yeah,
I
so,
used to do that vetting.
you know, and we just wanna. Really just, from a personal point of view. I've caught one Marine, wearing ribbons and medals he should not have worn. And it's really easy for me. I just call headquarters Marine Corps. And he walked me through his entire service back, because I'm a retired colonel, you know? And he had Purple Hearts he didn't rate. He had combat beats he didn't rate. He had, you know, and I knew it just by looking at where he was, how old he was. He said he was in the Gulf War, but I knew by his age that he would have retired before then by his rank. Because they don't, they don't take guys beyond 20 years.
Right.
So that was, you know, I kind of read him the right act and knocked it off. You know? But let's just put it this way, we have to, you know, police our own, you know, unfortunately. And then some of them are not even our own, some of them are complete frauds. So I've had that happen often. They've had $1 for every time someone told me there were special forces, whatever, and they were dropped off in Vietnam. I literally have this guy who was a Marine Lance Corps from E3 telling me it was special forces, and they drove a destroyer up the, what's the name of the river in Vietnam? The Mekong River, a destroyer. You know, I'm like, oh yeah, we drop them off deep into Vietnam, a destroyer. I'm like, do you know how much that ship drafts? Whatever.
Oh, the Mekong's pretty deep.
Yeah.
But when you get down in the Delta, there's a
Yeah.
lot of areas that are not
No,
deep.
yeah, no, I don't think it was a big story.
Nice training.
Let me know how many stories went up there. I think the answer is there.
But we're a bit pressed for time now. There's a banners go up on Memorial.
No, these banners, these are good. These are all good. I mean, we're not gonna go back and, you know, check everybody. You know, those who are obvious, I know some folks. But the ones I had in mind, I know they actually served, and they just may be confused as to what reconciliation for. You know, but some of them are pretty old, you know what I mean? Some of them are older folks, you know? So I give them the benefit of the doubts, you know what I mean? But for moving on forward, if everyone can take a look at this, does anybody have an issue or anything they want to change? What do you think, Ed?
No, the only thing I was gonna bring up is that we used to also, and correct me if I'm wrong, include anyone that had a business in Miami-Lakes. Maybe I'm like conflating issues, but I think that was one of the additional people that could put a banner up there. If I remember correctly. But that's it.
Yes, you're
Yeah,
right.
that would be good. So
Right.
there'll be any veteran who's a resident of Miami Lakes or a business owner in Miami Lakes.
Right.
Or a member, so let's add that in. Yes.
Yeah.
So does anyone have any objections to adding that in? No, good. Okay, so I need a motion to approve. All right, a second. All right, and open for discussion. Anybody want to add anything else besides, thank you, Ed, by the way, that was a really good presentation. Okay, so it's up for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Jonathan, let me ask I should ask this, vote on it. Would the town be okay with this process going on where we get to see the DD 214s and stuff like that? I mean, as the person submits it to the town, they're submitting it to approval process. So they're already kind of waiving their privacy as far as, you know.
I don't think it would be any different than how we accept nominations for the mayor marshal.
Yeah,
I know most people who submit DD 214s.
Yeah.
And there's any question about who's gonna see them, the thing that they normally obliterate is the social security.
and that's fine. Folks have service numbers now,
Right.
even, they changed it all, but in your
They
days.
used to have we had service numbers and then we went to social security.
Yeah, we did the same thing. We had service number. We went to, well, I started with social security numbers, then we went to service numbers, so they went backwards. So, yeah, you're
Up
right.
until a couple of years ago, I used to get over the DD. And then, and it stopped, it went over.
Yes,
And I asked,
we probably should plan another washing date
they do it, I think.
for those banners. When do the banners go on, Jonathan?
I think,
That week before, yeah.
I think we have them going up with the graduation banners. So if we want to coincide the deadline for the military banners, 'cause I know we haven't discussed the deadline. I just been opening them. It's been open for the past 2 months.
Have we received a bunch of requests? Do you know?
Our applications?
Yes.
We have 3.
3?
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. That worked out. Okay.
I suggest that we should talk to Fred because he asked me the other day, what's gonna happen with you. So I think if you can contact him, William.
Okay, talking Fred about the new
And-
rule.
Yeah, no, the rules and the
The rules
He
basically.
will pay,
Yeah.
everybody have to be paid. but
Yeah,
he-
no,
he
that's-
asked me, and I said, on the
I
rules,
think it's 8 days for them.
Okay,
It'll be nice perhaps just to talk to them ahead of time, rather.
Courtesy.
yeah.
See if he wants to watch them with us too. Maybe some staff.
So what,
Yeah.
So the watching date is.
what is the washing date? Thank you.
Okay.
What's the washing date? What's the week before Memorial Day? We did it on the weekend, didn't we?
Yeah.
20th, 21st.
Oh,
Is it Memorial Day?
No.
it's 29.
So you wanna do it the 20th or the 21st, folks?
May.
May.
It's a Saturday, right?
That's a Saturday, the 20th.
May Saturday.
Oh, what a coincidence.
We will not.
Dr. Morrow will be here to. The Air Force will be here to.
Yellow, stay dirty.
Is anybody surprised that the Air Force guy won't be able to get?
They're meeting to.
Yeah.
maybe the third-
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is it the 20th? Is your Legion meeting?
Or
the
you're like
20th?
second.
Yeah, we do the same.
The Legion-
The week before,
I'm not gonna be there.
using the American Legion to help wash the banners, since many of them, since many of them are featured on the banners.
That's a great idea. That's a what?
Yeah,
That's
that'd
the
be
13th. Yeah, because we do it right afterwards.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do the
I'm
13th.
not gonna be, I'm sorry, I would be there. I was there last year.
You
I'll
got,
be in Philly.
you got cropped from the picture.
I got
next to
cropped. Yeah.
The staff at the Laker.
Okay, so I need a motion to make the 13th to do the washing of the banners.
13?
Yeah.
May the
I'll
13th,
second it.
and it'll be right after the veterans or the Legion meeting,
Legion,
so
right.
about what? About 11 o'clock, noon?
Yeah.
So 11 o'clock.
You know.
Yeah, it should be. We did a pretty good job.
We got a system down there.
Yeah, we're a machine.
Yeah.
Hmm.
We have one small, you'll be here. I was gonna watch. Yeah, you were instrumental.
I don't think I changed the date just to make sure you could be there. I'm glad we did. All right, moving right along. Let's see where we're at.
Arbor Day.
Okay, Arbor Day, just for information, Arbor Day ceremony, the town, the garden club wanted to do it in honor of Dorothy Cook, who has been a long time resident and stuff.
Yeah.
And so they did that, and I had no objections to them, doing that, as the garden club, so. That was just for information. Next slide, please, okay. Next. Okay, Memorial Day is coming up. I know for the wreath, Michael, we had those ladies who assisted us. Women's. Garden Club. Can you contact them and see if they
Yeah,
can?
sure, of course. They were very adamant.
Yeah, they really,
They did really nice work.
national anthem singer, I think, Gary, you arranged it for last time. Do you have the same lady or somebody
I
else?
don't know, we have to.
It was, yeah, it was Natalie.
Natalie
Perez.
I
No, Pies.
Do we have to vote on allocating some, a little money for her or no?
We should.
I will, we can.
Well, we did last, it
Yeah, we
took
did.
a few months to come around, but, and it was in part because we didn't do it ahead of
So
time.
maybe we should do it now. 'cause it's
Yes,
ahead of time.
excellent idea.
Why don't we go through the list real quick?
And then color, yeah, we'll go back,
That's number 2.
Okay, color guard. Yeah.
It's like literally the thing that you do now.
Let's do it. We're on that item.
Right. The color guard, are you guys doing it or do I get the young Marines?
We did last year, right?
Yeah, you did it
Yes,
last
I
year.
did.
You wanna do it this
Yeah,
year?
yeah, yeah.
You do a good job.
We did.
I will be grading them.
Okay.
Okay. Town color guard.
So if you train them, they'll do it.
Oh, believe me, I'm gonna run him through it one time before they do it.
I remember last July.
He's giving us.
I remember last July.
Yeah.
Oh, they were really.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. That was pretty good.
Talking about July 4th, is that?
I think we're the young Marines are gonna be doing that one, but, yeah, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Okay, guest speaker. Does anyone have an idea who could be a guest speaker? I have.
Are we dedicating the monument on that day as well?
You mean the,
The battlefield cross?
Battlefield Cross?
We've seen the
It'll
plaque
be
has
great,
that
you know,
date.
it'll be great to use it to put the wreath in front of it. I don't know if we wanna do a big monument dedication, but where we're gonna put it?
But we had the plaque had that May
May 26th.
2023. Yeah. In anticipation that it would be ready for Memorial Day.
Is it?
Here.
Is it ready?
So we didn't put in, I think this is worth mentioning, we didn't put in the order for the flag just yet because I wanted to get any possible permitting issues out of the way, which they didn't pop up. So if we want to talk about that now.
Okay, well,
It's a good idea.
right, I mean, we could, I think we could use it. So at least that way the ladies have a place, something to put the wreath in front of, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? How easy it is to move out and move, because we're gonna be in the middle of the field.
The
Oh, it's
staff,
not gonna be mounted and that's it?
That's what I'm waiting to hear. Have it right now for the event or to have it already established? Because right now we're working through permitting with Jonathan and with building directly.
Okay, so where do you guys have it in mind where you want to permanently put it?
We had discussed that previously, I think maybe during your brief absence, and we had discussed by the trees. Jeremy had highlighted, we had a few examples of a walkway that kind of ended with the monument and then kind of a stone.
You put
Yeah, where the trees are, yes, off to the side of the.
Of the walking path.
Yeah, we have gone through a few different options, some a little further off. And then really, we highlighted back where the trees were planted. But I think and the reason I'm here also, I know, Chairman, I can't remember, I think now Bill, correct? Mentioned that you guys might be looking at not trying to create too much motion within the park and keeping it natural and maybe moving this somewhere a little bit outside. And that's kind of where I wanted to see where you guys stand on that.
Okay, well, I'm glad you're here because we're going to talk about some possible park improvements too. Keeping the same nature of the park.
Don't need the money.
That's right, well, it's always sort of money, hey, you know, but we can suggest it, and then we can fundraise for it. So where, Michael, what you guys were thinking of?
So right now in this area, you actually don't see the new planted trees, but there are 3 newly planted trees here that have been recently dedicated to fallen veterans. The goal was to come off a small pathway into the center of them, and that's where the statue was gonna be placed. Now, in our discussion or in your comments, you mentioned maybe not wanting to have that style of statue placed within an area that is mainly gonna be younger age adolescents. So
Yeah.
I know at one point we also had discussed, I stuck with previous chair, Coop, we had talked about somewhere over here off this
Nice.
path that we
That's
could have
nice.
leaned towards. But it's really, I'm here to help you guys and give you guys logistics on the use of the park and what's gonna make the most sense moving forward, not just placing the one
What do you
section
think,
now.
Mike?
And excuse me if I could, and then there was one other location which had been discussed amongst all of us, which was here in this area, given that a good number of our events are centered in this area, and then
Correct.
you have the play area here, so we considered putting it in this area as well.
as a center.
Yeah, people walk by there, I mean,
Okay.
That's almost central to where people walk,
right,
Yeah.
so they'd see it routinely.
Okay.
No issues on that. I mean, just remember, the biggest thing is, as you mentioned, as long as we keep the communal space in the center where we host most of our events, I don't foresee it being a concern. Just know that directly walking off the swing sets, that's the first thing you're gonna see. And the only reason I bring it up again is some of the comments made at the last council meeting was to make sure that we keep the essential portions of the park, which is in that case, play area. Correct. Not so much, placing that type of statue right in front of it. Now, like I said, operationally, it can be done. It can still be handled. It's just, more so, what is the real goal with how we want to handle this type of statue?
Okay. Okay, well, let me make a recommendation. Let's hold off on the statue issue until, because there's a lot of folks on the committee who have recommendations for a splash pad, or, clamshell this, for this, for that. And I just kind of want to see how it all falls in
This
together.
is April. We're
Yeah.
talking one meeting and less than 2 months away.
No, we're going to talk about, we're talking about, we're doing the good.
No, I'm talking about having it.
We're not gonna have it.
Having
set.
it for a Memorial Day ceremony.
Oh, I
Having
see
it
what
for
you're
a
saying.
Memorial Day ceremony, we have less than 60 days
Okay, so that's
to
not
make a
gonna,
decision and hopefully for
yeah, all the
parks
permitting.
to get a pedestal and to get it set in place and to get a plaque there and,
And so,
I mean, all that's non-trivial.
so in other words, we don't need to make that decision
I think we need to decide tonight.
tonight.
Yeah.
Or you want it to make it happen by Memorial Day.
If we're gonna have it happen by Memorial Day, I can't imagine that we,
Is it possible that we could get it in by Memorial Day?
Anything is possible. Now, there's gonna be something that John is gonna bring up that is a valid question. It's kind of what I alluded to earlier, is funding too. The permitting and to get it sealed drawings completed, which was something that was unforeseen. We can push it pretty quickly.
Well, it's our own permitting, right?
Correct. So the real concern is gonna be funding. I
But
think.
and it hasn't been ordered. We were under the impression that you had ordered that like months
the
ago.
plaque hasn't been.
Yeah, I think we approved the plaque in January,
Yeah.
right, January, but
But it's
I
never
didn't
been
order it
ordered.
because I wanted to make sure. Well, I believe because it had to do with the statue mounting it to the pedestal, I wanted to confirm that we did.
Right, but that takes 6 to.
This
10 weeks to
discussion
get-
started with where can the ladies put the flowers?
right.
Okay, so, and then we went to buy the statue. Okay, so if we go back to where do the ladies put the
Yeah,
flowers?
I know where ladies put the flowers. I'm gonna have the young Marines there holding up the flags that we did last time. And what they did was they put it in front of all the service flags.
Right.
So that's why let's table this thing about the statue until we get a lot more granularities as far as date and time and stuff. Because I don't, hope is not a course of action. I hope the permitting is done. I hope that this is done. That's not a course of action. Okay, so let's go back to
Plan four-letter word.
And placement is very important.
Yeah.
Because.
And we
like
have
like
the
statue
service
stands
flag.
For what he.
We have the service
I
flag,
don't want to put it in the playground.
right, Gary? We have the service flag.
Well, yes, that's the other issue. that
No, but we have it. We
Yeah.
have them. And they're in good condition, but they're in good condition.
Very common.
We checked it. They're in good condition. And we have the service flags, so we can have the young Marines hold them, and that's where the ladies can put the wreath. Going back to the national anthem singer, do we need to approve right now some kind of honorarium?
Yes.
Yes.
Jonathan?
I would get it.
All right, what would be a reasonable round now, about $50?
Can I make a motion for $100 honorarium?
Fine,
Second,
okay. Any discussion? All right, I vote is on the front committee for $100 honorarium.
I have a
Although-
question. Did we
yes.
pay this person last year?
We did.
Yes.
How much was
The
that?
American Legion.
We gave her, no, you paid her the event before, we paid
Yeah,
her for, yeah, we paid her for the, with a $50 gift certificate.
Okay.
And we gave her a $50 gift certificate and when we had this event last year, we paid out of pocket. We gave 250s and 100 to the bagpipe player, which we didn't get reimbursed. But Judy, thank you, that was a great idea, we'll address that, and so if we have a bagpipe player, would we pay them separately? Can we ask for more, and if we don't need it, then at least we have it on the table? So an honorarium for the national anthem, and then if we had a bagpipe player, we would also offer them $100 honorarium.
I'll say, so let's put, you want to make add to your motion of basically to include the possible bagpipe player?
Correct.
So on the table right now, the motion to provide an honorarium of $100 to a national anthem singer and $100 to a possible bagpipe player.
Correct.
That way we have allocated in the funding just in case we get both of them.
Correct.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. All right, so that goes.
Will we be the water sponsor for this, the Piccolo Toyota in the waters?
Sure.
All right. Like kind sponsor for the program?
Awesome. Okay. Let's take care of the easy parts, I hope. The tents, the chairs, and a functional PA system. For once,
To be checked
for
before
once,
the
to be
event.
checked before the object before the event. Believe me, it's been one of our
Do we
frustrations
have a
every single
functional-
time.
Oh,
Okay, so these are the same tents we had to rent for the 5K,
Yeah.
so we had to pay for that, more stuff,
Well, last year we got them as a donation.
No, they give it to us last year,
who were they?
yes.
The same
The
people
same
that
guys,
we paid
I know
for.
that, I'm sorry.
Oh,
You want the name, I'll give you the.
no, I don't, I'm good.
They are the same ones that does the.
All right, so who's gonna take care of the tents? You, Pedro?
I call,
Okay, good.
You?
yes.
All right. Apparently our
How many
donors
you
are
think?
are arbitrary and capricious.
How
Sometimes
many
they
you
donate, sometimes they don't.
How many?
Thank
yeah,
you all
my-
the time.
How many
Thank you
you think we
anyway.
need? Well, how many you think? we
Last
need?
year we had 4.
We had,
Yeah, we thought we should have more because the people that.
yeah, they were
sitting
overcrowded,
against us
so
said,
six.
And should we vote on paying for those in the event that Pedro cannot get them
That's a
donated?
good idea, Michael.
I think-
And also the chairs. We have chairs or we have our own chairs. Now we don't.
Chairs inside the.
They have chairs.
We have chairs, okay.
I asked them. and I-
Okay, so
I think-
if we have to pay for the tents, we can assume what was the tents we paid for last time for the race?
We raised $2,300 for.
$2,300.
Well, actually,
And
the $60 if we have to pay. $60.
Andrew.
You got the special price.
I know, I know.
Friends and family.
Yeah.
Friends and family.
My- Instead of moving, put them how I wanted them. We had to do it. If they need to stay.
Pretty
We
nervous.
got pegged.
Yeah,
It's got to be good.
yeah, I mean, we got hustled there.
Andrew got him 6 for 60, so $360, right, Andrew?
All right, so 6 for $60, so $360 here.
And the
Just so
chair?
go up to a case of inflation.
Like, yeah, just in case, make it 500 even. On the table right now is a motion, and it's gonna have a motion for $500 to,
Up to
the
5.
chairs, we have chairs. Up to $500,
Make a motion, $500.
up to $500 for tents. I need a second. Mario seconds, all those in favor say aye.
Who's first?
Pedro,
16.
okay.
Guest speaker.
Guest speaker. Okay, guest speaker. Okay, guest speaker, does anyone have any suggestions? Here's my suggestion, for a guest speaker, and I want to put this on the table. It's Memorial Day. We're honoring those who gave their life. And folks, if you've read, Medal of Honor, Summary of Actions, citation, some folks probably never heard these, but basically it's what the Medal of Honor recipient got, what he did to get what he got. And they have a whole bunch of those who, post-humans, where they died and they're actually getting the Medal of Honor. And I thought it would be nice if we had people from the Legion or other veterans of each service, an Army person reads a medal, Army or Medal of Honor. That'll be the guest speaker. A Marine reads a Marine Medal of Honor, the Air Force reads an Air Force Medal of Honor, a Navy reads a Navy Medal of Honor. And then all the other, if I'm leaving anybody up, I think there's a Coast Guard one as well. That, I think, with the lack of time, we have to find a guest speaker, but I think that would be very moving, as everyone
I
reads.
think that beats us guest speaker
Oh,
by a long shot.
Personally, I would love that to become a tradition for our Memorial Day ceremony. Because when you read some of these Medal of Honor summary of actions, and you're just blown away. And some of them can get a little bit graphic with our sensitive folks, because these folks are continuing to fight with expensive wounds.
Yes.
And, but I mean, we could, we'll read it to whales, read to their families. And, those folks, they're overly sensitive, well, that's their
Read it the
problem.
way it is in the citation.
The
Well,
way the president awarded it to the family.
But have you read the one from Benavides?
Those are the few that are pretty amazing.
but, at the same time, we could, tailor pick the ones that were going to be read. And just as a nod, because remember that we had a lot of kids, although we had done the poetry thing last year, so
Yeah.
that encouraged young kids, but we have young kids in the office, in the office.
On
On
the
the
audience.
grounds, they've got-
Well, yeah, I mean, they're never that bad because they are read to the family.
Mm,
But we can handpick some of them and, make sure it's stuff that, can be done. So, okay, so basically, I'm gonna look around to our committee and to Legion. One for each service. We're not gonna have anybody for Space Force, so, too bad.
Not yet.
Not yet anyway.
No, they're dealing with the baggy pants.
So that's what we're looking at as far as guest speakers, so we'll take care of that. Okay, moving right along. Okay. Okay, development, Veterans Park Development Plan. Okay, the idea is to have a cow eventually, a famous cow. Sergeant Boo. And, one of the concerns that Larry brought up, and it was a really good concern, was if we put it near the place where the kids play, they'll play on it. So I'm thinking put it right next to the Mary Collins Center, right near the entrance. There's a little area, grassy area right there. It would probably be, they probably won't play on it because their parents will be like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? And
We hope.
that's
Yeah.
right, we hope, but I mean,
We,
hopefully that would be the thing that works,
There is, just so I can bring this up, right now, the anticipated location for the Dorothy Cook planting is in that area as well. It's not right along the pathway, so that area closest to the pathway is still gonna be open.
Hmm.
And I was looking at landscaping it, but if you're looking at potentially putting something there, we can hold off on the landscaping,
Yeah, I'm talking right, like right,
right on the right. So as you're looking at the building.
yes, exactly,
on your right.
exactly. to the
So that
right.
tree's
There's that
above the
area
side.
that's kind of have that area,
We just ripped the tree out from there.
Yeah.
up to the right, where's the tree?
that's a
Yeah. The
good
tree's gonna
area.
be about 7.5 feet into the grass, so it's gonna be a little,
Yeah.
a little ways away.
That's a good space to like put a little pedestal.
Closer to the restroom.
Right.
The tree,
No,
The cow.
No, it's gonna be closer to the front
he wants it
door
to close.
Yeah, yeah,
to the
but-
door.
in that,
of,
in that direction.
Correct.
closer to the front door of the Mary Collins. Okay, next slide. Okay, so here are some ideas. This was in Bonita Springs. And it wasn't very large. A clamshell thing, because we use it for 4th of July and we use it for performances. And so here are some ideas. I just want to throw these out there for consideration, not to be voted upon. And also, we gotta take a look at what's a possibility. Next slide. Right, that's the same thing as it shows that has restrooms in the back of that facility. Next slide. Okay, what happened? Okay. One picture there, but I guess it's not there. And as far as a flagpole and stuff like that, next slide. Right next to that clamshell thing, they had a nice little marble. We could put our service emblems in front. We could put enough holes to put all the different flags in whenever we need to, besides the American and the Florida flag stuff. And the park basically, next slide, see if there's a picture of it all. Well, that's a splash pad. That's Larry Borman's splash pad. Go back to
Larry Borman's.
So anyway, so the idea with the clamshell thing is we have this area where people can play music.
And other committees. can
Other
use it.
committees can be used.
Cultural Affairs has also brought this up before and presented on the possibility of a band shell, whether mobile, whether permanent. They've also brought this to light.
Well,
before
there
the
you
council.
go. Great minds think alike. And then since
How
they
did it
use it
go?
for, how'd it go?
Hasn't
Yeah.
been funded.
Yeah. So do we even have a cost estimate?
There was a few cost estimates brought before them. I have to go back to their presentation fee.
So this is right in Springs in Florida, so we can go, and it wasn't a very large park, but there was a lot of space right in front of it. And that would be, you can actually, when I was there was a bunch of, there was a dance studio that was doing, South American, native South American dances. They were practicing, they were rehearsing. Could have been a Keats rehearsal, I don't know. It was really- But anyway, so something like that. Next slide. Okay, and it had restrooms and it had the ramps and stuff, so it's ADA compliant. And we don't have any restrooms in that part of the park.
On the southern side, no.
No, so that would really work out well.
Is there plumbing available over on that side? There's sewer?
Not sanitary sewer, no.
Okay.
I have to see where the furthest man was. I don't have the
Yeah,
top of my head.
That would also be, that could be expensive.
Well, all that can be expensive.
How do we go about getting budget allocated to this project? Like, how do you even seek the funding for that?
It would come up during the budget process, a request through a committee, and if anything, I'm here really support, so if there's anything, documentation, if there's anything you need more information on, pulling pricing, I can look at contracts, I can get, I'm here to assist you guys on that side.
Yeah, what we do is figure out what the pricing is, and then we take a look at what the heck, what grants are available.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
available in some corporate.
and corporate sponsorship,
Who would want to have your name.
yeah.
The other item to consider with that is just gonna be, we already host, and I might be playing devil's advocate here, but we already host these events, just bringing a band shell might be sensitive to some of the homeowners directly in front of the park. That's just one thing to think about.
Yeah, and well, maybe the mobile man band shows another thing.
And obviously, and also if it's directed and we, if anything, we can look at ways to direct the sound
Right.
and angle it, so it's kind of alleviating.
That's what I think the band shell cover does. It kind of alleviates the noise. It puts-
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, I mean, you can make it where it's is aesthetically a pleasing kind of thing, because it's in the middle of the park. I mean, I don't think that one looks particularly bad.
No, it's
I think
actually
it looks
nice.
nice. Looks really good. I wouldn't mind, you know, pretty good. Okay, next one, and you know, Larry's not here to advocate for it, but actually, splash pad. I'm not sure where it would be. I guess it'll be in the grass area in front of the clamshell thing and. I'm not too sure how it'll function. I mean, you can turn it off and so that area becomes usable. You can put chairs on there and stuff like that. You know, turn it on if you want to play plastic April Fool's stuff.
Our Miami Lakes Parks Director has some experience with this subject, and this has come up at Veterans Park. And
What are your thoughts?
And was even brought up before for Optimus. The difficulty with building a splash pad isn't so much building it, it's the what comes after, the maintenance.
Yeah, the maintenance.
The
I think is
maintenance
gonna
cost
be huge.
is heavy. Right now, we don't have, we'd have to contract essentially the management portion of it as well, just because we've never dealt with pools, we haven't, never been.
And liabilities as well.
The liability is also there. You're also not gonna place it near any trees, which is also another hard point. So almost you're kind of pigeonholing yourself to being in the center, which is our communal area. for
Yes.
So that was the other discussion we had, is location is gonna be extremely tough. It can't be near, you're gonna sever any roots that are down below it. You're gonna have to lay the concrete pad and or paper pad all around it. And you can't put it near any growing roots, which that park has some beautiful oaks all throughout it.
Yeah.
Because all that's gonna start
Be
interfering with the pipe.
location.
Like over here by this side. By the playground. So it's not in the middle of
Closer
the
to the
park.
background.
It's, like I said, it's still a possibility. There are gonna be some hurdles with it.
the proposal cost, you said for the one that was proposed at Optimus.
That was, and I don't remember the size. I remember we discussed size, but it was close to 800,000.
Yeah, and that's,
It was a larger,
and that's not including maintenance. And I will tell you, underground pipes and stuff like that, you're probably looking at, you know, easily. $15,000 to $20,000 maintenance a year, and then if it explodes, forget about it. You gotta dig it all up. So, okay, it was a fun.
I would have bring it up.
You know, I mean, and I'm gonna let Larry advocate for it again, because it's Larry's idea, and you know. And I think, you know.
Pedro, can you get us the 800,000 down to $60? No?
Number 60.
Yeah. And, you know, like I said, you know, it's Larry's suggestion, and I think Larry should, you know, hear what the concerns are, and, you know, and then we'll go from there. But I think one of the things that I'm trying to do with this park, what we should be trying to do with this park is, you know, we need to keep the same flavor and tone of the park is, it's a place of joy and where children play. And I'll tell you, as a combat veteran, most combat veterans do not want a constant reminder of their combat experience. I know when I see somebody in, you know, in the MARPAT, the Marine Pattern uniform, or I see a tactical vehicle, I have memories. You know, when I smell diesel of a ship, I have memories. And none of them are pleasant memories. So, you know, one of the things they talk about when they talk about cognitive behavioral therapy is to give the veterans who have PTSD the opportunities to see and experience other things that get them out of that ruminating thought.
It's playing,
Kids playing, music,
families together.
art, families together, shows, those kind of things really help people suffering from PTSD and combat veterans from getting out with ruminating thoughts. Having, you know, memorials, that's great. We need to honor that. We need to have those because we are the Veterans Committee. But we can just go overboard on that and all the veterans get stuck. And everything becomes a reminder of their worst day of their life. And we should try to, you know, have as a community to, yes, we honor this worst day of your life, but we tell you there's a bunch of more days ahead of you with all this beauty around you. And I think that should be the goal for our Veterans Park. You know, so if you're wondering why, you know, why I'm into the arts, well, one, I do like the arts. But two, I think that helps. That helps in the long run. Those veterans suffering the most from PTSD to get out of ruminating thoughts and be able to reconnect back with the beauty of life.
A place to picnic and for fellowship. and
Yeah,
things like
exactly
that.
right. Exactly right. And to see children play. You know.
I don't know if I'm completely, I mean, I respect your sentiment, but I think for myself, I think that there's a tremendous sense of isolation after you've been overseas. And when you come back and everything is normalized, but it's not normalized for you. And so the notion of you know, this brotherhood and recognizing this patriotism that drove people, I think, you know, having something that gives a nod to the people that aren't there, I think is very powerful. I thought it was last year when we voted on it.
Yeah.
And
No, I'm saying, I'm good with Battlefield Cross. I'm not talking about the
I don't
Battlefield Cross.
disagree.
but-
No one disagrees with me there. You know, but I'm just saying that, do we want to have a bunch of memorials around this park? You know, emphasizing the massive loss that we have. And that's up to this committee. If you guys want to do it, fine, we'll do it.
I think to some extent, we want to find those things that we are proud of.
I agree. And those things that,
Okay, and so when you think in terms of monumental things, I think, well, you know, this combat item is, I mean, those of us who have been overseas and lost buddies,
yes,
okay, or seen people die or shipped people home in body bags, that's a poignant thing. That when you see it, it gets your attention. But you don't want everything to be like that. You want to have things where you have the seals of the services. You have
exactly.
places for the flags, for ceremonies, and that you have, you know, it's like that POWMIA. POWMIA package, so that
It's a visual
It's-
reminder, not a
it's the
mental
vi-
reminder.
it's not something that you want to have mentally be difficult for you. You want something that you can look at and you say, hey, I have brothers who didn't come back. Okay, and I am proud. And
I think, and we could really I think we can thread that needle where we could make the park a place for arts, enjoyment, and celebrating life. And at the same time, honor those who serve.
it's like the band shell, other committees will use that.
Yeah.
I mean, it will be used for other functions.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just us, but if we've got our marks on it, we've got our emblems on it. We've got our flag staffs there. That, you know, that's a pleasant reminder
Exactly.
of veteran service.
Go back. the front picture, there, next. Yeah, where that little concrete space is,
Right,
right below, that's actually pretty high up. It's about 3 foot high. You could have every branch of service
Right.
emblem right up front.
Right.
Engraved in there. You know, and that'll be, you know, so no one, Michael, is time for memorials, absolutely. I'm just saying that, you know, we just need to understand purpose of this park. And how do we best help folks go forward? And then some folks are stuck. And some folks just want to remember the brotherhood, you know? Whether that's healthy or not, that's up to them and their therapists, you know what I mean? But, you know, I would tell you from my personal thing, the battlefield cross, I think is a wonderful thing. But I will tell you what it reminds me of is
bad times.
dog tag. Every time I walked out as a staff pick and marine division, I would put another dog tag on the one that was out there, front hatch of the general officer in my office. And it ended up with 4,000 dog tags, 2,000 dog tags, some ridiculous amount of dog tags. You know, eventually we started just taking those off that, you know, because we didn't have enough room on the rifle. Pistol grip. So, you know, it's one of those things, you know, so it all depends, you know. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make sure we're doing what Bill said. Make sure that it's a place that honors those who serve, but doesn't re-injure those who serve, and it gives them a place to enjoy life, you know.
Like that, the POWMIA one, I can show anybody who wants to see it afterwards. On the front side, it had POWMIA and all that, and on the back side, it had just people, it had a
And the
a
service
picture,
uniform.
service people in their dress uniform,
Yeah, that's nice.
and it had both men and women. Okay, and it was a pleasant thing to look at. Okay, I mean, it served the function of reminding that there are POWs and MIAs on one side, but when you looked at the other side, it was more like a tribute to the people in service.
So what's the way ahead? Let's talk about the way ahead. The way ahead is I'm gonna collect photographs from you folks. And I'm gonna submit it up like here. And eventually we're gonna weed it down to, like, I'm guessing the splash pad's gonna come off of the recommendations. We're gonna leave the clamshell, I'm gonna get that thing that he recommended. And whatever else you guys recommend, and then we'll eventually take a vote to see what we wanna have and what we don't, you know.
I just have a point of clarification
Yeah.
that maybe I missed. Because my understanding is that memorial was already voted on and funded and all that. So
We're not
that's
talking
happened.
about that one.
No, I know, but I don't, my only point is, and I don't think one memorial is gonna change the whole thing of the park. I think they can both.
Right.
No, I agree. We can even have more memorials.
Right.
I agree. You know, I'm just saying, let's, you know,
If you want it, I can have it at our next meeting. I have a good friend of ours, it's a very good friend of Homero Cruz. He's an architect, he's a general contractor, he's very familiar with Miami Lake for the past 30 years. He already told me that he can help us, he can give us an idea. And he's a.
well, that'll be fantastic. And I'll say that
Let's
we
talk
should
tomorrow.
bring them,
No, I'll
You
talk
know,
to you
Mayor,
tomorrow.
right?
Yes,
You know,
I do.
Mayor.
but we will bring them in once we have voted on what we want to see. You know,
Well, he
what
can give us
do
an
we want to
idea.
vote? But once we decide, hey, we want the clamshell, or hey, we want this POWMIA thing, or, you know, hey, where do we want to put the battlefield cross and all that stuff? Once we do all that, we can bring him in, because then we know what we want, and then he can help us figure it out.
And you might remember we had discussed, and I think we all thought it was probably not a bad idea.
It might be at next meeting.
With staff as well, the notion of phasing these things so that we didn't just get a bunch of things and just start putting them. But we had suggested, we'll do the clamshell in our 3 to 5 year plan, the cow is 1 to 2.
And that's exactly what we're talking about, Michael. That's exactly it, you know, that once we decide this is what we want, is because I want to be able to pass on the plan to the next chair and the next committee folks. And that way we have it already kind of laid out. The parks guys have said, yeah, we can put it here, we can put it there. They already kind of, you know, figured out what the costs are, what the challenges are, what's possible, what's within the realm of possibilities. And then we can start fundraising and do it in the right phase. All All right, any other concerns, any other issues? So that's the plan ahead, folks, is send me your pictures. What you like to see, remember the space we're talking about, and remember how it's used right now. We cannot have a big gigantic headquarters Toyota blimp hanging over the. I know that was what you're gonna send me. Don't send it.
So the thought is.
Now it's like, how do I make it? You know, no blimp. No blimps in that. All right, any other issues, folks?
I do wanna, I just wanna go back and sort of clarify the permitting issue. Cause it all comes down to dollars, I guess. So we have the pedestal. We have the statue itself. When I was looking to place the order for the plaque, I went to Jeremy and started asking about, what are the permitting, what's it gonna look like besides just, you can't just put a statue on a pedestal and put it in the grass. I've come to learn that everything needs a process. So I found,
It's the government.
right, well, I don't know,
It's
everything.
mitigating risk.
Everything.
It's mitigating risk is what it is.
Everything. So, we went with Danny's rep because at this point, permits and that stuff is above my. That's, I didn't go to school for that stuff, so I sort of, asked for help on that and we got. I guess this is a calculation. And.
It's engineering documents that handles wind load and tipping point, so because it is something of pretty good weight.
Yeah.
And your park is probably 80% children, there's a huge liability with that. So we went back, we wanted to make sure the foundation was set right, and that came back to having full engineering, engineered drawn documents. And that's where we stand now, and that was actually a good point,
That's why-
I can talk to Homero, I'll see what we can work out, but currently, as it stands.
Right.
In order to secure those documents to finalize permitting, it's going to run.
He might be our next mayor.
Right, all of that, the
It
number,
could be how much?
the number I got back was 4,500. So as you know, we spent,
Just for the shop drawings, engineering drawings.
oh yeah,
And the permitting, and they will handle the permitting.
And it's not even placed yet.
And that's not the.
so.
But we see some.
Anytime you're pouring a concrete foundation, it's gonna cost you money for plans and certification that it'll hold the weight and everything else.
We did see
Engineers
some
get
money
paid really well.
from what the town council approved. We had asked
For
for
the
10,000 or 1250, and they gave us.
Yeah, you guys asked for 10, so at this point, I don't know. What the next step be going back at? Or unless
No,
can
we-
find-
It's so good.
Concrete is the cheapest part.
Yeah. Because the base was a couple thousand, what was the?
I have the
I think
budget
Chris-
right now.
We're at 7769.
Okay, so 2231 is left. And I said 4,500 for the.
Right now, I don't know. if
Right
we're
now,
gonna go
we
back.
can talk it over,
Oh, this gentleman.
I'll intervene first also with the individual, but I'll also reach out to Romero. That's a great point.
Yeah, I just wanted to make you guys all aware, because,
That's good to know.
Thank you.
no, I mean,
But if we have to approve money, we would approve 2,500.
We're gonna go ask.
I
for
think
more.
you would have to ask.
More than that. I mean, it's 4,500 just to get the plans done. It's gonna be, that's without actually installation. So
That's without, that's without. the
I would
plaque,
double it.
that
We're
is
looking
the-
at probably
Plaque hasn't
nine
still been
grand, just to
ordered.
be safe.
Right, so I haven't even put in the order for the plaque.
But you counted it here.
How much is the plaque?
Battlefield.
The plaque was at 1,600, so the pedestal, or excuse me, the statue was 54.95.
Oh, no, we're not. No. it's not good.
The statue was 54.95 and the pedestal was 22.74.
Have we paid for anything?
Those two items.
Okay.
We have them, so some, the only things we haven't,
Okay, well, that clearly means that it won't be ready for Memorial Day weekend, so it's all the people can see.
Right, right.
So we're gonna use the Young Marie's old flag and that'll be placed, but they said the flowers. Okay, so let's talk about again, the way ahead is submit the pictures, we'll see what we approve. We'll get it scoped out by Almero and stuff like that, we'll put out, and then we'll phase it. We'll put out and phase it, and then we'll cost to phase, and then we'll start fundraising something. Right?
So where is the statue?
where it's in Mary's Hall.
In storage.
With everything else,
In store.
everything's in there.
Yeah, that's like where they were.
Well, the,
That's where
That is
they
a proper name for that.
the statue is in the Smithsonian, the pedestal is in the usher adjacent to it, so it's a little more.
That gallon,
A little more,
That's maybe you said that base.
the base,
yeah, the pedestal is.
What is it? 500
I don't remember the exact.
I think the load capacity that the manufacturer gives is 200.
The pedestal?
Right.
I mean, the statue is like 100 pounds, but the pedestal I thought was much heavier, no?
Oh, the pedestal's heavy. I was just talking about the load capacity, the pedestal's heavy,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't remember the weight.
I mean, in other words, you're not moving it around, you have to get a forklift.
Oh, yeah,
Pilot jack.
it was an interesting. It was a very,
So what are you waiting on for the plaque then, to order that?
so I reached back out, I reached out to the manufacturer who gave us that original $1,600 quote. They hadn't gotten back to me, and then that's when I went to Jeremy, and said, hey, what about, where are we getting to with the permit? So actually, the plaque, is kind of in the air.
Yeah, because we don't have a date that we can put it on, and we don't have a dedication date.
I mean, it might be helpful that the person didn't respond back to me.
No, that actually worked out, because if we don't have the funding to finish the plans and lay out the concrete, we don't have a dedication date to tell them. So
We
let's
have
not put the cart before the horse.
How long is the turnaround for the plaque?
Plaque, if.
So,
2024.
Instead of
so first we gotta figure out when it's gonna get put on and then calculate the 6 weeks.
She said it could take up to 2 months.
The plaque?
All bronze, right?
Right, I think it was 6 10.
Yeah,
So
we got a
maybe
lot,
for,
we got a lot of preconditions before we even talk about plaques.
Memorial Day 2024 is what it's gonna be.
Yes,
That's when we probably should dedicate it. No, then,
Yes.
it could be in.
I was thinking maybe 25.
Oh.
At this rate.
No.
why would I be doing
So yeah,
that?
that's
It'll be the date, it'll be there, it'll be dedicated on the date.
that's the update I want to.
Look at mine.
Right, folks, motion to adjourn,
Good. Second? So we're skipping item 9?
are we? What was item 9?
Yeah.
Just schedule events,
This is kind of.
that's just, information.
Um,
Any concerns with any of that? No.
Oh, I'm sorry, for Martha and Lourdes, there's
Yeah.
something, I think you addressed it at the March.
Yes, we did, and, I think Jonathan needs to go back and ask Joseph
Yes, and
about, getting that certificate of appreciation.
then I thought we haven't gotten any wording or anything, but
Well, you don't need wording, because, I mean, I saw him issue one at the dinner or the lunch to Tico.
Right.
And somebody else, Norma?
Tico Norma, yes.
Tico Norma, and I don't think it had any special wording. It
No,
was just a-
Tico Norma and Mike.
It was just a special, it was just,
Yeah, it's a, yeah.
it's just a certificate of appreciation, their name on it from the mayor, that kind of thing. It was just a form.
okay, then
Wasn't a
I'll
proclamation.
double up on that.
Yeah.
See where.
Joseph better, don't talk to the mayor, not Joseph.
I see them both.
Joseph will do it. Yeah, they didn't even get it.
Right, so you'll follow up, motion to adjourn. Anyone? Second? Okay, Mario, second.